Last year, I started something that I had been thinking about for a really, really long time. I started making YouTube videos. Since that first upload, for the most part, I have posted a video about every week. A lot of them did terrible, and it's kind of embarrassing, like every single second going into YouTube analytics, especially in the beginning. You're just kind of like always clicking into the app, taking a look at your views and just like over analyzing everything. And even though throughout this year, I wouldn't say that I had like a singular breakthrough moment, starting my first YouTube video did begin my journey on a goal that I had secretly given myself throughout the year, which was to get to 1,000 subscribers. In order to get to 1,000 subscribers in 2024, I felt like the best way to do that was to figure out a system that would work for me, where I would continuously spend time and work on YouTube videos. From the perception of some of the videos I've made in the past, I know I've made videos about how I am able to study, do my master's degree, while also working full-time with ADHD. But I think one clear distinction from those things versus working on YouTube is that those have goals and systems directly provided by an external force. For example, for work, if I don't get my work done, obviously I'm going to let my team down. There's going to be external consequences. For my courses, if I don't finish my assignment and I don't complete my exams, I'm not going to get the grade that I want. As a result, a lot of those things have external forces at play for setting goals, as well as setting systems for completing milestones and completing things based on a schedule. But I think definitely a lot of the toughest things in life, for example, your general health, exercising, mental health, none of those things have a clear set system or a clear set goal. So yes, I did have a goal, which was get to 1,000 subscribers, but I never did anything in the past where I had to figure out a system for myself that worked for me without any external influences. This is why definitely I feel like YouTube changed my life a lot, because it enabled me to really try and figure things out for myself to build that system to be consistent. But I mean, that's super hard for someone, especially with ADHD, and just for people in general, because we fear the unknown. Many people procrastinate not because they don't care, but because they care too much. A lot of times procrastinators report a high fear of just failing on something, and they put things off because they're too afraid that they won't live up to their own high standards for a particular thing. Having a system is more important than the goal itself, because the system will always guide you through every day, but a goal might not be able to do that. Eventually, I did figure out that system, but it wasn't without a lot of effort. And those efforts were a bunch of little tricks and tips that I did for myself that I found worked for me. And this might just work for me. It might not work for everyone else, but I'll share some of them. For example, me learning not to overload my schedule. I learned to say no to a lot of things, and I made my life super, super boring. I just eliminated a lot of things that I felt like didn't really matter as much to me. And that allowed me to focus on a couple of things that I really cared about, such as work, YouTube, things like that. In addition to that, for things that I didn't like, I automated or outsourced them. So for example, if you don't like editing and you can afford an editor, then you should totally hire one. Because if that's the bottleneck, you're only going to go as far as where your bottleneck is. And editing for me, at least, was a huge challenge as well. So for me, I initially tried hiring some editors, but then what I realized really worked for me was using CapCut, which is definitely a lot easier to do some of the editing versus previously for Final Cut Pro. I felt like I learned better how to break down a system and break it into little chunks. In the beginning, I thought of YouTube as a huge monolithic thing, which involved editing, which involved the initial research process, figuring out the title, doing thumbnails, doing the filming, all of that. And when you think of all of that all at once, it just feels extremely stressful. In my system now, I've learned to break those things down, such as doing research in the beginning, figuring out the YouTube title, figuring out what topics I want to talk about, and then going to the post-editing process of posting, perhaps even figuring out final details for thumbnails. This idea of chunking tasks down is somewhat provided to us from external factors, such as for work, we have things that have been broken down already. For my courses, assignments, and everything has been broken down already. So again, YouTube changed a lot of things because it forced me to figure out those things on my own and figure out ways for it to work for myself. After a ton of efforts, ultimately I got there. I got to 1,000 subscribers. And again, thank you so much for everyone who subscribed, who's ended up leaving a comment or even watched any of my videos. Of course, this isn't the end though. We are reaching that 1 year mark, and I did achieve the goal of 1,000 subscribers. So I've just been trying some things recently, and I've been trying some things because I know that the system that got me to 1,000 subscribers worked. But now my new goal is getting to 10,000 subscribers. So in order to do that, my system will have to change. There's going to have to be evolution. For example, my editing will have to improve. There's going to be differences for my storytelling, my research, figuring out which topics I want to talk about. And I'm stoked. I'm stoked to not only learn about building new systems, but also improving upon a system that I had already created and not feeling stagnant on something, continuing to build something to make it better and better, and not just resting on the fact that I have created a system already that has worked. So yeah, thanks so much if you've joined this community, and I look forward to seeing you guys at 10,000 subscribers.